What's good, people? It's about that time to randomly relate, reverse rants, no hate. And hey, y'all, bear with me with the windshield wipers. It's raining. I'm doing this video. It is what it is. Today, I want to talk about Usyk versus Chisora, and a lot of the questions that we have as far as Derek Chisora. It's more like, what does he have left in the tank? I'm hearing that a lot because Derek Chisora, he's had a lot of wars, and his style of fighting is he takes punishment to give punishment. Alexander Usyk, basically the whole mystique surrounding him is more, people are more focused on can he take a punch from a real heavyweight? It's going to be different than the cruiserweights. Alexander Usyk said something during the press conference when he said, everybody keeps talking about weight, but I fought at heavyweight before. And the tournament that he was in, he fought at heavyweight. And people, for some reason, are saying it's different. And I'm thinking like, well, no, it's not different. It's the fact that you have guys like James Toney wasn't a natural heavyweight. He started as a middleweight. He had decent power. For a heavyweight, decent, because nobody never walked through James Toney. He had boxing skills. He was very slippery, and I think it benefited him more as a heavyweight because the bigger guys are not as fast as the middleweights, not as active, don't throw as many punches per round, so it worked out for him that way. And the fact that he was a very solid, fighter defensively and offensively, excellent counterpuncher. But styles, depends on who you're fighting. Certain things you're able to do with certain guys, and then certain things that you're not able to do. So with Usyk, it's more of, that's the concern I'm hearing for Usyk is more of, can he handle, these big heavyweights, But overall, the mindset that both of these guys have, we know Derek is going to have to try to rough him up and try to get inside and stay on him. Usyk is going to have to try to, box, use his skills, and we just see what happens. Pause. Yeah. So, on to something else. Terrence Crawford, Brooke. Something that I've noticed from the very beginning, I'm starting to hear people talking about it. Sean Porter has his video, his YouTube show that he does, and they were saying the same thing, like, why so much hate towards this fight? I've been saying this from the very inception of the fight, that people are showing very little interest. They're saying, I've heard people saying that they feel like Brooke is damaged goods. He's no longer going to be able to compete with the elite fighters. That's yet to be seen. It could be true. It may not be true. He might shock a lot of people. He might do better in a winning or losing effort than people think he's going to do. Who knows? We'll see. What I've been saying from the very beginning, like, yeah, people that's shooting this fight down. But I'm telling you guys, what it is because they feel like, okay, Brooke still has a name, but they feel like Terrence Crawford. It's more a dig at Terrence Crawford than it is at Brooke. What they're saying is, Terrence Crawford could have fought. Like, example, he told Keith Thurman that the thing about Keith Thurman, him and Bomac said Keith Thurman ain't got no, who the hell is Keith Thurman, right? Remember when Keith Thurman was sending the contract, whether he was bluffing or not, because he ended up talking about he was up to 191 pounds, he was depressed, and then said he was down to 171, and so how in the hell you talk about sending a contract, you're not even close to fight shape weight. So who knows? But the one thing that Terrence Crawford said was that, in saying that, they said he priced himself out, and also they were saying that he doesn't have a belt. So it's like, well, neither does Brooke. So they feel like he took Brooke because Brooke has a name, he has a country behind him, but they also feel like Brooke is damaged goods. That's why they're shooting this fight down, because they don't see Brooke as the threat that he used to be. Okay. And like I said, we'll just have to wait and see how it plays out. I'm not here to play devil's advocate for anything or take sides. I'm just saying this is what people are saying, and this is why they're saying it more than anything else. Now, it's, as far as Brooke being underestimated or whatever, He could be underestimated, but he hasn't looked the same in his last 3 performances. You know, and then when people say, but yeah, he went up and fought Triple G and he fought else. Yeah, he did. He fought these guys, and that's part of what people are saying is that his fights, they feel like it took a lot out of him, and it could be the case. And then also, Sean Porter says something as well too, and these are things, if you go on my videos and see, I pointed these things out. Kell Brook has had a problem with making 147. He went all the way up to 160 because he could. And if you remember, he went up to 160, he kept the weight. He wasn't one of those guys that went up to 160 and came in the ring under 160 was a smaller guy. Like, no. So when he went to 154, people feel like that was more of a comfortable weight for him because he's draining himself to make 147. So when you go get on the scale and you're 147 fight night or 146 and a half or whatever, and then the night of the fight, you're 160. You're draining your body to get to that weight. So a lot of people were saying that for that reason. It's not so much to bash Kell Brook, is that they don't feel that Kell Brook is what he used to be. I don't feel Kell Brook is what he used to be, but we'll see. Now, Kell Brook is talking real spicy now. He's going to do this, he's going to do that, and he's saying a lot of things. Hopefully, he can back it up. And I don't know. I believe Kell Brook is probably doing that to spark interest into the fight because nobody's talking about this fight. To this right now, you go on online and you look on almost every channel, they're talking about retired fighters more than they're talking about this fight. So I think that people look at it like, yeah, Kell, you trying to Terrence, you trying to get an easy win, and that's why you're going for Kell Brook because he has a name. No difference like if he was to choose Amir Khan. We all know Amir Khan has no chin. We know Amir Khan, he has a name though. There's still people that look at Amir Khan and say, okay, hey, and the fact that fight never happened between Kell Brook and Amir Khan. You know, people, I'll guarantee you people would rather see that fight than to see Terrence Crawford against either one of them because they look at Terrence Crawford as one of the elite. They don't see Kell Brook or Amir Khan as the elite fighters. If you want to put them in it, they'll put them at the bottom of the top. That's how it seems. So, yeah, you know that's what that is more than it's not so much, oh, they hating on Kell Brook. No, it's just the fight itself. And there's no need to hate on anybody. I mean, it is what it is. There's no need to, it's not about hate. You know, and also what I want to say shout out to my whole family. You know, and I'm talking about my subscribers and subscribers. When I say my whole family, I'm talking about the family. I don't call y'all subscribers, I say the family. Shout out to the family. You know, I salute y'all. I appreciate everybody with the positive energy. You know, I don't like idiots coming on my page. They got these little minions that come on my channel and want to talk stupid and make no sense. You know, they have proof and facts right in front of them, but to them it's, well, but this and but that and well, if this happens, that's going to happen. Well, I heard it. You know, all of the petty shit. The whole just going back and forth like a bunch of like a husband and wife. I said these boxing channels, they don't even feel like boxing channels no more. They feel like it's like couples therapy or something. Like, I'm not the one gonna sit up here to go back and forth with you idiots. You know, I'm about to start blocking and deleting some people anyway because there's some people who I don't even want on my channel because you're basically just fools. You don't even make sense when you talk, and you just say stupid shit just to say it. And you're on the wrong channel. Because I'm not one of those guys that's going to sit up here and entertain what you say. I'm going to say what I say, I get it off my chest, then I'm done with you. You understand what I mean? Because, like I said, it's not because we have a difference of opinion. See, the point with these people is they try to make their facts, their opinions facts. So their so-called facts, it's crazy like you're saying, oh, they can't do that, this can't happen, he can't do that, he can't, but yet it's happening though. They can't do it, but they're doing it. So what sense do you make by saying what you think or what you hope happened versus what's actually going to happen? What's happening right now? So, I mean, I'm hearing even like with Deontay versus Fury, I'm hearing, oh, they're going to strip him because he's obligated, and it's like, are you dumb fucks not aware that the fucking contract expired and the fight is off, and you heard your boy Mauricio Suleiman sit right there on video and say there's nothing slating either fighter from fighting each other or for either fighter to fight someone else, which means, jackasses, that Tyson Fury is not going to be stripped of his title for fighting someone else. The contract expired. Now, if the contract hadn't expired and the fight was on and he just decided to breach his contract, not only would he be stripped, but Team Wilder would sue. So for all of the little dumb minions out there that have no clue, you're on the wrong channel. Like I said, I'm gonna start blocking and deleting some people, because I like I said, I can't like, I'm not one of those people. If you're gonna talk, make sense. All right, makes sense. Don't say shit to me out of your little feelings, because I'm not here to cater or baby you. You understand what I mean? So I'm not into that. So, like I said, salute to the whole family. But for the minions, oh yeah, I'm about to get rid of them, and they know who they are. They know who they are. And then you got, you know, as far as like I said, I don't even entertain stupid comments. It's like, you know what? No, I will make a video and roast your ass for talking what you don't know. Because what you're not gonna do is sit here and try to shit on my name and you know, try to, oh, he's making this up or he's lying. And no, see, I have no reason to do that for anybody. Okay, I hold no malice in my heart towards nobody. I have no jealousy, no envy. I'm not the one sitting up here making up stupid ass excuses. You guys are. I'm not the one sitting here reaching for stuff that hasn't happened. I can't tell you, you know, what the next man is thinking. I can only tell you what was said. And then even when you do that, it's, yeah, well, but this and but that. It's like, you know, you gotta grow up. You gotta grow up. I stopped watching Sesame Street years ago. You guys probably still watch that shit. You're still on the childish level, and your comments just show that. So there's some people I'm about to just get rid of, boot you right the fuck up off my channel, because I don't need you, I don't want you around, and I don't even enjoy talking to you motherfuckers. Like I said, you know who you are, and that's going to be that. But salute, shout out to the rest of the family, not even the rest of the family, because you motherfuckers ain't family. Shout out to you guys, and I appreciate you guys, and like I said, I enjoy chopping up with you guys. It's just conversations, that's all it is. I'm not here to debate and argue with people, and that go for any motherfucker. I'm not here to debate and argue with you. You wanna walk around these boxes and nuts in your mouth, y'all can do that. I ain't on nobody's sack. I don't put nobody on no pedestal. To me, I could be standing like me walking up right now to Mike Tyson or Anthony Joshua or whoever the fuck. It's no different from me standing next to a complete stranger in the checkout line at Walmart. I'm not starstruck. I don't praise nobody. Like I said, they're human beings, and that's it. So you're not going to get that bullshit from me. I don't care about any of that. I don't put anybody on no pedestal. No one. Like I said, I like certain fighters better than other fighters. I like certain fighters' personalities better than other fighters' personalities, and not one time did you hear me say they should act any kind of way to cater to me. I don't personally care, but some people have a certain disposition about them that you just don't care for their character. But you never hear me say, oh, I don't like that guy. I don't know these people, and a lot of times these people, they just put on airs because they're in front of a camera, but off camera they're nothing like that. And a lot of these fighters sit here and argue on camera and talk shit, and then sit there on the phone and crack up and laugh because they know that they got everybody fooled. Now, let me get into something else real quick. I was watching a video. I forget the guy's name. I should be able to find the video. It's not even necessary for me to do it, but, you know, Derek Smoke Gainer, former, you know, Roy Jones protege. He was talking, and they was asking him about Lomachenko and Lopez, and you know, he gave his opinion, and it's something that he said, and some certain things he said that I paid attention to, that I noticed the reaction from other people. Now, when he said Lomachenko, and he said that Lomachenko was exposed to the point of he fights everybody the same way. And there's certain fighters you can't do the same things against, which, yeah, you can't. And I agree 100%. I've said that many times myself. You can't fight everybody the same way. Okay. And he couldn't do it against Lopez. Now, I felt like Lopez, I always said from last year, I said I think Lopez can beat Lomachenko. Turns out that he could. Okay. Wasn't because I think Lomachenko's a shit fighter, nothing like that. I feel like Lomachenko's a solid fighter. I don't get caught up into the hype when people are overrating the fighter or saying, and I do feel like they blew him up to the point, they tried to make him like he was invincible. Like, you know, there's just nobody that can beat Lomachenko. And now when he gets beat, now you're starting to hear certain people, oh, well, Lopez is really too big. look, we've had several fighters who fought guys that were too big for them and they still won. That's neither here nor there anyway. Okay. My thing is this. Somebody's got to win, somebody's got to lose. We spend so much time trying to shit on a fighter when they lose a fight, when they're trying and they just, hey, the guy was a better, hey, it was a great fight, it was a good fight, whatever, hey, we had a good, and you can sit and point out what you saw, what you think, but, you know, I'd rather enjoy the fight instead of sitting there, you know, just being a person who want to sit here and talk like, we know somebody has to win, somebody has to lose, right? But then when somebody loses, we sit there and try to find all these, like, negative ways to express what we saw and to try to kick dirt on them. But, you know, Lomachenko tried and he got beat. Now, the excuses, yeah, he could do without all of that, you know. But bottom line is Lopez was the better guy. Simple. Now, it doesn't end. The journey doesn't end for either guy. Now, with Lopez being the champ, well, now he has to defend his title. So it doesn't get any easier. Now, he also said something. Derek Spokane, I'm talking about. He was talking about, they asked about Tank Davis. Now, he said, I don't like Tank Davis. I don't like him. I don't like the guy. Now, he did say, Tank can fight. I don't like him, but he can fight. But I don't like him. And then he asked him, which is something that people always ask, how do you think such and such fighters would have done in your era? And it's always the same answer, 99.9% out of the time, out of 100% of the times. Oh, he wouldn't have made it in my era. Oh, my era, they would have did this and this and this. You know, let me say this. I don't know if something happened with Derek Smoke Gainer and Gervanta Tank Davis outside of the sport or off camera, like something, words were said, or I don't know. Maybe he beat somebody that he's friends. I don't know. If it's, you know, whatever animosity is there. I've never heard Tank Davis speak about Smoke Gainer. Okay? But let me say this. First off, for us to increase the value of the sport, and we just keep talking about this fighter couldn't did this in this era, that era, this would have happened, and they wouldn't have made it. Well, you know something? When people have that mindset going forward, they stop watching boxing. Because that's what they'll say. Oh, I hear that all the time. I stopped watching boxing once Ray Leonard retired. Or once Muhammad Ali retired. Or once this person retired. Well, basically a lot of these disgruntled fighters, guys who left the sport that didn't leave the way they wanted to, usually have a lot of negativity about fighters, especially fighters that was in their weight class. And pretty much, there's a lot of people who was comparing the two, and it was like, there's no comparison. Tank Davis would have killed Smoke Gainer. Now, you got people that would disagree, you got people that agree. That part I wasn't even really focused on myself personally. And you know, you don't have to like a person, you got the right to like or dislike whoever you want. Like I said, I don't know these guys to say I like them or dislike them. But first off, let's say this. He did say Tank could fight, so he did give him his props in that sense. But when you guys say a guy couldn't have done this in my era, they would have killed these guys. But yet you claim you love boxing so much. Okay? Don't you realize Sugar Ray Leonard's era? We'll say the same thing about Terry Norris's era. But when Terry Norris fought Sugar Ray, look what happened. And the excuse was, oh, Ray was old. Ray was like 38. No, Ray was 34. And not only that, nobody was talking about Ray's age before that fight. So I don't even want to hear that shit. And I like Ray as a fighter. I like Terry Norris as a fighter. And pretty much the same thing. Okay? People, every era before say that the era after them couldn't lasted with them. It's always the same thing. At the end of the day, I think that's complete bullshit. There's fighters you could put in any era and they would have dominated or held their own against any era. There's always certain fighters. It's not a look, you gotta understand something. I used to hear people say things like, oh, there's fighters who was never world champions that was great fighters. Nowadays, they don't say that. If a guy hasn't held the title, hasn't accomplished much anything, what do they say? Like take a Luis Ortiz, for example, right? You could take someone back in the day who never fought, you know, never held the world championship, but, you know, did good against the champion and lost, and then you'll say he was a great fighter, right? Based on his performance. Okay. Luis Ortiz. there's people who like him as a fighter that would say, oh, but Luis Ortiz, he's a great fighter. And a lot of times they say it because they're trying to, because Deontay beat him both times. It don't matter how many rounds Deontay lost. The point is he won. The fact of that comparison is because it's like, well, it's not hard to outbox Deontay. So, yeah, you fought. Deontay was the biggest name on your resume, and you got knocked out both times. So, I mean, outside of even fighting Deontay, what has Luis Ortiz accomplished as a professional heavyweight boxer that you can really say, oh, he's a great fighter. You can have great skills and don't have the opponents to give you that, have that name to get you over that. Yeah, that can happen. And I think Ortiz is a decent fighter. I don't see him as great. I see him as a decent fighter. But at the same time, regardless, the point is, we're trying to push the sport. I'm not sitting here saying make up lies to say you think a guy's better than what he actually is. No. But what I'm saying is, it's always this whole, the past is better than the present. So how do we grow the sport of boxing? How does it grow? If all we're going to keep doing is talking about what somebody did in the past and how these guys are not, then why are we watching it then? Why would anybody want to tune in and sit down and watch some half-ass, C and D level fighters? Because this is exactly what I hear all the time. So my thing is, like I said, I don't know if something personal happened or if he just was expressing himself, but why do fighters like to sit up on a show or TV or whatever, just sit and say, I don't like this guy, I don't like that guy, I don't like this guy. But then you same people will sit here and talk about how much you love the sport of boxing and how the sport of boxing needs to grow. Now, I can't say that I've heard, Smoke talking about this kind of stuff so much, but just in general, it's always like you hear these guys who, like a lot of these pro fighters that, ex-fighters, you hear them say things like, oh, I don't even watch boxing anymore. Yeah, I don't even watch it. So at the end of the day, it's like, damn. And sometimes, like I said, things happen in your career don't go the way that you want it to go, and then people get salty and they start to like really have this disdain towards people in the sport of boxing that they just stop watching boxing in general. They don't even support it. But and of course him making that comment, yeah, that made people start making comparisons. People that remember Derek Dinner, he was a good fighter. He tried to imitate Roy. Okay, it was similar to like Adrian Broner and Mayweather. Their relationship, as far as like he had him under his wing, and he wasn't as good as Roy. Like Adrian wasn't as good as Floyd, but they both imitated, those other guys' styles. I don't know the relationship between them. I know that Derek and Roy split, at some point, and it was, a lot of questions. But I don't get into the theatrics and all the, never. I don't get caught up in that. But Smoke, biggest problem was his beard. So when he got tired, he got easier to hit. He didn't really have a chin, and that was his Achilles. That was his Achilles heel, man. Derek didn't have a chin, man. Tank does have a chin. Tank can box. Is irrelevant to compare who you think would have won, but even just in that sense, when you look at Tank's career right now and look at what Derek was, it make these guys look bitter. For the simple fact, they'll say like, oh, I accomplished this and this, and I ain't jealous of no man. Right. But this is part of the reason why I don't understand why every chance they get to answer a question about a person, like nobody asked him, do you like or dislike the guy? They asked, like, what do you think about the fight coming up with him and Leo Santa Cruz, and ask him about how you feel personally about him. But he made it his business to say, I don't like the motherfucker. Like, I don't like the guy. And I hear this so often, like I said, from fighters, man, from retired fighters. And like I said, you entitled to like or dislike who you want, which to me, that's just, I don't get up in my feelings like that. I don't understand how you guys even function. Just walk up, worry out who you like and don't like. Even if you point out flaws in the guy, something that you see in the person, that why you don't rank them the way other people do, that's not hate. Okay, it's not necessarily hate. It's you just, I see this and that or whatever. But they're asking you, how do you feel about the fight? And he went into, I don't like Tank. I don't like him. But at the end of the day, it comes down to this, man. If we want the sport of boxing to really grow, and get to the point where people are tuning in. People want to see these fights. That's the difference with boxing and now and versus before. It's like you wanted to watch the fights before. Now it's like certain fighters get the nod, you know, and not just fighters in general. And because of that, it's like boxing is not seen the way that it used to be. They'll only check for certain fighters. It's not going to change overnight if it does, but the attitudes and mentality behind people have to change. You can't expect the sport to grow and blossom, and all we're going to do is sit down and talk about, I don't like this guy, I don't like that guy, and oh, this guy wouldn't have did that. Now, to ask a question who you think will win a fight, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about when you just go out your way to just shit on fighters, and we're talking about guys that can actually fight. Like, you know, I heard that Kell Brooke, one of the comments Kell Brooke made, he said he's going to do to Terrence Crawford the same thing that Fury did to Wilder. Well, you know, it's not the same thing, because Terrence Crawford can box. Wilder is a guy with a punch, and we all know that. He's not technically sound. You know, so when Kell Brooke is saying this, I feel like he's trying to sell the fight, because Kell Brooke is not really known for talking like that. I think he's just trying to sell the fight. But at the end of the day, it's like, you know, trash talk and all that kind of stuff goes on. But we're talking about just people just like have a disdain for people. They have a dislike for people. And it's like, where does it just come from? Where does it come from? And there was certain comments I was reading and certain things that I was paying attention to. Like, you always have, like, when somebody make a comment, people want to start taking sides and want to just get involved. If it's negative content, everybody wants to comment. Everybody has something to say. You know, and it's like, really, I didn't comment. I didn't bother to even say anything about it on that channel, but I figured, you know what, I'm going to talk about that. Because it's something that we need to really just get over and get past. Even if I like a fighter, like a guy as a fighter, and want to see that fighter win, I'm going to be honest about what I think. Like, if like AJ is the guy that I want to see beat everybody, and there's nobody who I see in the heavyweight division that I feel like, oh, he'll beat like AJ can lose, yeah. Of course, he lost to Ruiz. But I'm saying, as far as like me looking at somebody like, I don't think AJ can beat that guy, I don't see that. And if I thought that was the case, I would say it. I wouldn't sit here, oh, I got to go with AJ, to the point where I'm going to just be biased and act like I don't see certain things. So at the end of the day, that's just me being me. That's all I'm going to say on this video. Listen, never fall in love with lies. Remember, the truth brings hate out of people. I will catch y'all on the next one.